Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing optimal visas to bring a Thai loved one to the United States. Get a lot of calls, get a lot of inquiries from folks who are looking to bring their Thai loved one back to the U.S. This may be a girlfriend, boyfriend, this may be a spouse, a fiance. And so I thought I'd do kind of a more general video. I oftentimes will do sort of fiance visa specific, marriage visa specific, tourist visa specific. Let's just do a general one here real quick. As we've discussed in other videos, in many cases, the most optimal visa would be a tourist visa, an American tourist visa. Unfortunately, due to what's called Section 214B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, as well as the interpretation by many officers at the Department of State, this visa may not be readily available as a practical matter. Now, you may be able to apply for it, but the likelihood that it will be denied is not unheard of. In fact, it's quite high. It's been my experience that where you have a relationship between two people, that operates against the analysis in Section 214B and results in a denial of a tourist visa. So let's set the tourist visa aside because there's a large, I would say a pretty decent probability, if you will, that a tourist visa application is going to be denied. Next question is, well, what's the optimal visa to get my loved one back to the United States? Really, you've essentially got two effective options. You got the K1 and you've got the CR1 and the IR1. Now, sometimes U.S. marriage visas will be referred to as K3 visas across the internet. As a practical matter, the K3 visa, it may be useful depending on your circumstances, but for the most part, we see most K3 visas become subject to administrative closure, and so effectively, they're not an option to many people anyway. So let's set aside the K3 visa. You're looking at K1 fiance visas as well as CR1 or IR1 immigrant spouse visas. Now, as I've discussed in many other videos, notwithstanding the fact that nothing is particularly moving very quickly through the immigration system, I think generally speaking, if you're looking for a more streamlined process of getting one's loved one into the United States, the K1 fiance visa is probably the better option. Because one thing, and this is a major thing, it does allow one to bypass the National Visa Center. You don't have to deal with the bureaucracy of the National Visa Center, which in my opinion is a boon. It's a benefit to not have to deal with that. Meanwhile, okay, the downside of the fiance visa is, unlike the CR1 or the IR1 visa, which are immigrant spouse visas, the spouse enters the United States with their green card. Now, there's further things to bear in mind, especially with regard to these visas coming from Thailand, which is getting married in Thailand is not easy like it once was. There was a time where it was possible to get married in Thailand and it took a matter of a couple of days. I made a video contemporaneously with this one where I go into that in further detail, but long story short, bear in mind, it can take a month or more now to get a marriage registered here in Thailand, and that may require a foreign national to remain physically present in Thailand during that time, during that processing time. So again, depending on your situation, the immigrant spouse visa may not be the most optimal. Now that said, if you're already married, again, that may be your only option. You're not going to get divorced just to go seek a fiance visa, although I've seen that occur in times past because fiance visas at one time were dramatically easier to process than marriage visas. So, and you know, divorce isn't something people really like to think about at all if they're in a happy marriage. But, you know, I've seen situations in the past where it proved necessary, or folks that were processing their case felt it was necessary to get their, in this case, Thai loved one into the United States in a timely manner. So there's a lot going on when you're looking at U.S. immigration options. This is probably why it's not a bad idea to contact a legal professional, gain some insight and guidance into how best to proceed.